Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Todd Chrisley returns to Florida prison shortly after pardon. Todd Chrisley returned to the Florida prison shortly after his pardon. This is the prison he was in the entire time he was incarcerated. However, he has returned after not being out for very long. Fans are shocked by this. There is also a new Chrisley show that is coming out soon, which will show all of the details about what happened. Keep reading to find out more about this situation. Todd and Julie Chrisley were in federal prison for over 2 years. Their daughter, Savannah Chrisley, made it her mission to get her parents out. Recently, Donald Trump pardoned them, and they got to go home. The two are still claiming that they did nothing wrong. However, fans are unsure what to believe at this point. Regardless, they are back home with their family, which is important. A new show is in the works that is going to shine a light on how hard it was for their family and what they went through. However, since they were pardoned, it is also going to show videos of Todd and Julie reuniting with each other and their family. Todd Chrisley has returned to the Florida prison after his pardon. However, it seems as though he was speaking at the final residential drug abuse program graduation ceremony. The Pensacola prison is closing, so they were doing a final ceremony before the prison closed. I wanted to instill hope in these men, my friends, but I also want it to be very revealing. I want to give them the credit for the sacrifices that they've made to go through this program, because this program is not an easy program. This is something Todd really wanted to do, not only for himself, but for the other men in the prison. It seems as though Todd was going back to speak at a ceremony. This was important for him to do. When he was pardoned, he mentioned how he hated leaving all the men he got to know behind. So he went back to being a speaker and felt like this was what he had to do. Fans are wondering if this brought up any old feelings for him or not. What do you think about this? Are you shocked he went back? Sound off in the comments below. We would love to hear your thoughts on this. The news hit like a thunderclap across the world of reality television. Todd Chrisley, the sharp-tongued patriarch of Chrisley Knows Best, had returned to a Florida prison just weeks after receiving a long-awaited pardon. For fans who had followed the roller coaster of the Chrisley family's legal saga, the twist was both shocking and strangely fitting. A reminder that when it comes to Todd, the drama never really ends. In the days following his pardon, Todd's life looked almost cinematic. He was photographed walking the streets of Nashville, smiling behind oversized sunglasses, greeting fans with that famous Southern charm. Interviews hinted at book deals, a possible return to television, and even whispered discussions of a Chrisley comeback special that would chronicle his post-prison life. But Todd, in typical fashion, wasn't satisfied with the simple role of survivor. He wanted to be a star again. Yet as quickly as the sunshine returned to his life, clouds began to form. A pardon that came with strings. Insiders close to the Chrisley family claimed the pardon came with unusual stipulations. According to one source, Todd was instructed to uphold the integrity of the agreement and avoid certain financial entanglements. He was told not to touch certain investments, not to overstep into areas of influence where the government still had its eyes, the insider whispered. But Todd is Todd. He likes control. He likes running the show. The man who once strutted across reality television stages with an iron grip on his household was not built for a life of restrictions. He had tasted freedom again, and in that freedom he saw opportunity. Within days of the pardon, Todd began holding meetings in hotel suites and private dining rooms. He spoke of relaunching the Chrisley empire, bringing back a bigger and bolder show, and even re-entering the real estate game that had first built his fortune. What seemed like harmless ambition, however, raised red flags. Freedom wasn't a curtain call for Todd, another source noted. It was an opening act. The turning point came during a whirlwind trip to Miami, where Todd had been spotted at a lavish dinner with potential investors. Authorities later claimed those conversations crossed into restricted financial activity that violated the very conditions of his pardon. Just 3 weeks after leaving confinement, Todd was escorted back into a Florida prison, this time with cameras capturing the spectacle. The images spread across social media like wildfire. Todd in a crisp white shirt, his expression unreadable, as federal officers led him past a cluster of microphones. Why's he going back? Didn't he just get out? Fans asked online, their comments a mixture of sympathy, mockery, and bewilderment. But perhaps the strangest part of the saga was Todd's own reaction. Rather than looking defeated, he appeared almost defiant. His jaw set, his posture straight. "This isn't over," he reportedly muttered as he was escorted through the gates. The Chrisley family reacts. For Julie Chrisley, Todd's wife and steadfast partner, the return to prison was a crushing blow. Still navigating her own sentence, Julie had been clinging to the hope that her husband's freedom would soon mirror her own. Now the image of Todd being relocked behind bars shook her faith in the system, and perhaps even in him. Savannah, the couple's outspoken daughter, rushed to social media to defend her father. "This is not justice," she wrote in a fiery Instagram story. "My dad was given his freedom, and now they want to take it back over technicalities. This is harassment. He's a good man, and he deserves better than this." Chase, on the other hand, kept his reaction understated, sharing only a cryptic post. Sometimes the greatest tests come right after the biggest victories. Fans debated whether his words reflected frustration, hope, or resignation. Life behind the gates again. Back inside the Florida facility, Todd reportedly wasted no time reasserting his presence. Inmates familiar with his previous stint noted that Todd had become something of a counselor figure before his pardon, often giving advice on fashion, relationships, and even personal branding. Now with his return, the dynamic shifted. "He came back like a man who wasn't broken," said one fellow inmate. "Most people come back here looking like life chewed them up." Not Todd. He walked in like he was still filming a show, like the cameras were just hidden. Some say Todd immediately began organizing a prison Bible study group. Others claim he pitched the idea of an inmate-run newsletter, jokingly titled Chrisley Confessions, behind bars. Even in confinement, he refused to let his personality dim. The pardon debate. The Chrisley saga reignited public debate about the nature of pardons. Was it possible for someone to be pardoned and then so quickly thrown back into confinement? Legal analysts debated the unusual case on cable news panels. Some argued that Todd's return highlighted the fragility of executive grace. Others insisted it showed a man unable to resist stepping back into the same patterns that landed him in trouble before. One commentator put it bluntly: Todd Chrisley didn't just want his freedom, he wanted his throne. And when he reached for it too fast, it was pulled away. A future unwritten. Though the world speculates about what comes next, one truth remains clear. Todd Chrisley's story is far from over. His name continues to dominate headlines, his family remains outspoken, and his supporters rally behind him with hashtags like #FreeToddAgain and #ChristleyStrong. Todd himself is rumored to be writing a memoir that will detail not only his life in prison, but the shocking twist of being freed and re-imprisoned in record time. If true, the book could become one of the most talked about celebrity releases of the decade. And who knows? For a man like Todd Chrisley, every downfall is also a stage, every headline a spotlight. His return to a Florida prison may feel like an ending, But in the larger-than-life saga of the Chrisleys, it may simply be the beginning of Act 2. Because if there's one thing Todd has proven time and time again, it's that he doesn't fade quietly. Whether free or confined, pardoned or punished, he continues to command attention. And maybe, just maybe, that's exactly the way he wants it.